A little while back on the Boicozine blog, I stuck a few pictures of a magazine called Little White Lies up, just to pretty much because a friend in Australia hadn't seen a copy before. And I thought, now I'm making videos, this is probably an even better way to illustrate what Little White Lies is about. It's a film magazine, but it's unique in the fact that it will take a film that the editors think is of note, not that they even particularly like, but just one that is of its time, and they will use it as a theme for the whole issue. So this is the Sin City issue, and just showing you the back section where they've tried to make the DVD reviews look like a sort of comic strip analogy. There's pictures from Russ Meyer's films in there, and it's broken into different sections too, which I'll show you later, which really helps the pace. There's a heavy emphasis on illustration as well, which is something you don't see in a lot of film magazines, and it gives the films a different level of reading. The company behind, or the band of film buffs behind Little White Lies, are ex-Adrenaline magazine staffers, and they've started up a publishing company called the Church of London, and through Little White Lies they've also been doing sort of work for the Curzon cinemas and for various DVD producers, and the illustration has sort of bled into the other work they've been doing as well. There's a series of Pedro Almodovar DVDs with covers very similar to what's going on in Little White Lies. Taking films that just are of note. You know, this was the film that the Beastie Boys put together, based on people going to their concert, taking footage and then sort of cobbling it all together. And that's what this issue was dedicated to, with some really lovely big illustrations just filling pages, and you know, often the copy is sort of subservient to the illustration in some ways. I'm sure the editorial bods wouldn't be so happy about me saying that, but never mind. The back section for this issue is based on old hip-hop posters from the 80s, so there's actually an online archive of the original flyers that you can access. I might put a link in on the blog, but they've very much sort of taken a lot of those and reappropriated them. There's some really lovely covers as well. Some don't work so well, but you know, they all make up for it. The contents page is great too, because every issue they pick images to go with people's names. So for this one it's all buttons, but for other issues it's been like, I think for the George Romero issue it was like bits of body parts and stuff like that. This is showing too a fashion spread. It's all just really quite innovative and interesting, and that ties in with the theme. That's Totoro from the Studio Ghibli films. Again, because it's cartoons and kids films, it's got a sort of kid-like element to it. What was I showing you here? This is another contents page. It's just showing you what happens to the contents page each issue. For the control issue, it was wavelengths, I guess. Like, I'm guessing that's someone saying someone's name and they've managed to record that. They would have to confirm that though, I'm just guessing. Yeah. Lots of issues. They're up to issue 18 or something now. Now this is going to show you the different sections. There's always end papers, which is unusual again for a magazine, because that's where they make a lot of their money, usually, magazines. So, and you go straight into the first section, which is always a random selection of articles about the film they're talking about. I think they talk about the film up front and do a big review of it, and then, see, I'm getting it all wrong. The first section is about the film itself. The second section is the colophon and the editorial people, and always has a little quote from whoever's featured in the magazine about why they like films. We've skipped chapter 3, which is just random articles about the film. They can be all sorts of subject matters. this is section 4 where they do the reviews, and they break them down into like 3 different tiers, so you get an idea of how the film works before you see it, while you're watching it, and the sort of feeling afterwards, if you like. Chapter 6 is reviews of upcoming films, so pretty much anything you want to know about anything that's coming out, so usually served by directors like Michel Gondry and Spike Jonze and things like that. And what have we got here? This was a very recent issue. Oh, and like this is the articles section, and they've all been themed with this sort of bendy wire typography. Looks sort of a bit like Cooper Black, I think it's meant to be. It's quite clever, and it goes right through the articles section, so it ties it all together. Sometimes they do that, sometimes the articles are sort of more loosely tied together. And this is that's what I missed before. Section 5 is about all the sort of bits and pieces like reviews and DVDs coming out. It's all the sort of jumbly stuff you get at the back, and again they tie it in with a theme. Like we had the Beastie Boys issue with the hip hop things, but this one it was just sort of French poster style, I guess. And that's the latest issue. That's the one that's out now, about a film called Gomorrah. Don't know if it's any good. That's it.